We are back, Season 4 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs podcast. I'm Chris, and along with me are two other hosts and a producer. For those of you who are new to the podcast, we like to showcase breweries, their beers, and conclude every episode with a thematic-ish conversation. If you're a casual listener or a seasoned vet, you know what to expect. Producers continue to change throughout episodes, but the same old connoisseurs will continue to provide top-tier content every single episode. Please feel free to listen to all of our previous episodes and producer specials to get an insight into all the breweries and beers that we've mostly enjoyed. And whether you're new or returning, we're pleased to be your favorite craft beer podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now for today's episode. Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Chris.
What?
Who's this?
Did you get a recording or something?
No.
Oh my God, he's here!
In the flesh.
Oh, I'm so happy right now.
Or maybe, hold on, what is it? The person who shouldn't be named or something like that? Is that what you...
Oh, we can name you now. You're here.
You're here. It's Chris. He's back.
Yeah, Chris is over there. I'm Brett.
And I'm Tyler. And along with us today is producer... Is we going Zach or Zachary? Which one? You want Zach?
Oh, he likes Zach.
He wants Zach.
It's shorter. It makes sense.
His mom's going to be upset, though, because it was
for
always
sure.
Zachary. We know all
I
this.
think the birth certificate does say Zachary, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, welcome, Zach. But more than anything, welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
So in today's episode, Chris, we're going to be reviewing Cold Bear Brewing. Not cold beer, but we're going to have some of that, which is located in Arnprior, Ontario, which is just near Ottawa.
Yeah, and Chris, what we do on this podcast...
just refresh my memory.
Yeah. What we do on the podcast is we actually review beers. Generally two.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to review two beers from this brewery, which Brett just discussed.
Yes.
The first one is the Madawaska, which is a bohemian pilsner. And the second is, it's called Shift Change. And it's an ordinary bitter. Not like Brett and I are towards you coming back, because we are glad that you're here. We're not bitter at all.
Oh, I thought you were saying, okay. Anyways, so to finish the episode, we're going to discuss, where have I been and what does my future hold?
Yeah, because I'd like to know.
All right, guys, I'm a little rusty, so let me try this on here. Ready?
Okay.
So Cold Bear Brewing is located at 100 Madawaska Boulevard in Arnprior. It's actually located right across the street from a Quality Inn in a strip plaza that also includes a Subway.
Are there any pizza places there?
I don't know.
All right.
It's a good question.
Thank you.
But that provides you the perfect trifecta of beer, food, and sleep. Or a place to crash, right?
Yeah.
So Cold Bear is the perfect place for locals and people visiting to pop in for a pint or two. It is a recent entry into the Ontario craft beer brewery scene. I got to be honest, I had not heard of it before they were going to be featured on the podcast. So definitely recent.
Yeah, I mean, you've missed 9 episodes, so you probably haven't heard much.
Well, I've been listening to you, actually.
Yeah,
so,
that's nice.
But they opened, back in May of this year in 2023.
Nice. Very good. Co-founded by Hugh, which is the head brewer, and Blair, which is the head of marketing, and Bill, which is the jack of all trades. Some would also call this maybe the perfect trifecta.
It would be cool if the jack of all trades was Jack.
Yeah, that's true. And then Bill could have been the guy head of financing.
Right.
just something. I don't know. Just a thought. So there's also, so that's Bill, Colbert, and Chris Toner, which is the sales manager. And then there is a real big focus with this brewery, which is, we see with a lot of breweries, is the focus on local ingredients. And they also do these classic innovative styles, which is, again, we're talking ordinary bitter.
Pretty classic.
Nothing. We haven't had an ordinary bitter on this.
I don't think so. I mean, I haven't been here for this season yet.
But
so
not just this season. Yeah.
No, I know.
I've been quite enjoying this banter between you two. It's a miss.
Yeah, you've been sitting there quietly with your arms crossed.
Yes, it's been fun.
Yeah, well, you should.
Yeah.
Did you hear 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well.
Wait till I talk now. Just to kind of go back, Hugh and Blair are husband and wife, and then Bill is Hugh's dad. just as they're all family. Their last name is Colbert.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Very
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Just that's their titles, right?
Well, yeah.
Jack of all trades is the title.
That could have been written so much better. We'll have to talk about Zach.
My
about
writing
that
hasn't
one.
got better.
Well, Zach. Yeah.
Yeah, Zach. I tried to help Zach. Maybe I shouldn't have. Anyway.
Yeah, because you certainly didn't help me.
No. You're right, I didn't. Anyway, so Cold Bear is equipped with 2 tanks producing 3,000 cans each, and then 4 smaller tanks producing 1,500 cans. Now, he has been in the brewing business since 2016, starting out in quality assurance and quality control at Sleeman and Bose before going to brewing school at UC Davis, which I believe is in the States, and then working as a head brewer at Calabogie after graduation in 2018.
Okay. There you go.
Oh, Producer Zac shaking his head about Calabogie or UC Davis not being in the States. Or what are you shaking your head about?
Yeah. You could type. Just shaking your head just to shake your head.
He's gonna check into that.
He's not sure what he's shaking his head about. But
Here we go.
Switzerland. I believe the UC stands for University of California, Davis.
Yeah.
So
You thought it was Switzerland, which could also be true in a way because beers are in Switzerland.
well, yes, they are.
So I think let's just talk about the first thing that we need to discuss here.
Yes. What is the first thing?
Cold Bear?
Yes, the brewery.
I, as well, also thought, and we talked offline about this, is every time I kept seeing it, my brain instinctively just had cold beer.
It's a I don't you know tongue twisters?
Yeah.
It's like an eye twister.
Like an illusion? kind of like... You like one of those?
Yeah, like that.
Like an optical-ish illusion?
Right. Yeah.
Or we could call them eye twisters.
I like that eye twister.
That's good.
Hey,
That's good.
when you get an opportunity to brew a beer, you can go ahead and do that.
What, eye twist?
Yeah, no, you can call the beer an eye twister and make it like a triple IPA or something.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Thank you. Patent pending.
We should talk about Cold Bear a little more instead of a nice little banter between
We
two
did
friends.
confirm it is California, right?
It is California.
All right.
Yes, that is correct. They've been in the news lately because their K7S West Coast Pilsner just won gold for Hoppy Lager.
I was going to say, are you going to tell us where?
Yes, at the Canada Beer Cup, which was presented at the Ontario Brewers Conference in Niagara Falls last month.
Very good.
So I think the question is, why are we not having that beer on the podcast?
Because it was too good for us. I don't know.
They knew you were coming back.
they heard your last few episodes, right?
Yeah.
Got him. All right, so this family-friendly tap room provides a quality view of the brew space. Now, none of us have been there. This is strictly just off information.
No, I was there actually.
Were you?
No.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Did you have an
he posted to his
optical
Instagram,
illusion? Yeah, it was on your Instagram. So it's a family-friendly tap room. Good brew space. In terms of there's playing board games, you can go and you can just enjoy comedy nights. They do events just like every other brewery for the most part. So it's nice to see that they also offer that there. It would be a kind of a cool space to go to, and it is also nice that this brewery is relatively new to the scene because we have had past producer specials talking about breweries that have kind of closed up.
Yes.
So it's nice to see that there is still some breweries that are opening.
Yes, it's always good to get new stuff, right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like new stuff?
We love new stuff.
Now, their logo
Oh my goodness. Here we go.
is simplistic but yet good,
Okay.
right? It is a polar bear with a mug of beer on top.
All right.
That's good.
I don't have it in front of me, so I cannot
like
confirm these
Yeah.
facts.
Do you want to see it?
Well,
Well, we'll see it
will.
when we have the beer, right?
Fair
go
enough.
ahead.
Yes. It is good, though.
All right, Chris, what do we got here?
So on Untapped, Cold Bear has created 23 beers so far in their, I don't know, what is it, 8, 6, 7 months, whatever.
Yeah.
Math,
Yes, but
math
they're-
is
yep.
now not my strong suit.
Oh, goodness.
With an average rating of 3.76 out of 5 on Untapped. So pretty good.
Very good.
And then if you're in the Arnprior area and you'd like to attend the brewery, they are open Monday to Wednesday from 3 to 8, Thursday from 3 to 9, and Friday to Saturday from 12 to 9, and then Sunday from 12 to 6. So all days of the week.
Yes, 7 days a week. You like when breweries do
Yeah,
that.
that's nice. Chris, we had people reach out to us in your absence and said
I bet you did.
numerous times, where's Chris? What's Chris doing? And we'll get there.
He carries the podcast. Like, it's not the same without him. Like,
No, I didn't hear that, I don't think.
But then we told your wife that she's got to stop commenting. But everybody else said to us, you know what? We miss hearing his voice. So, Chris, why don't you hit us with this information here and then take us into the first beer, buddy?
Of course. So as always, we're going to link to their information on our social media so you can get in touch with them. And we are going to grab our first beer. We are back here with our first beer in hand, first cold beer.
It's true.
In hand.
Cold Beer Bear.
Very cold. So big thanks to Hugh from Cold Bear for providing the beers for today's episode. So thank you very much, Hugh.
This is the first one, season 4, first beer for Chris.
That is true. That is true.
Beautiful on air.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, on air, because I have had some of them, yes. So the first beer we're having today is called, as we mentioned, Madawaska, which is a bohemian pilsner, and I believe also the street that the brewery is located on, right?
Correct.
Very good. Very good.
See, I remembered from the beginning. So this one comes in at 4.9% ABV with 30 IBUs.
Yes, so this one is using local malts, so M3M Pilsner and Weyermann Cariform from Mississippi Mills, which gives the beer a malty backbone that is well balanced with traditional Saaz hops. The aroma is complex, with notes of bread and biscuit, which is followed by a slightly floral and spicy hop character. And it's going to pour bright golden yellow, and it's going to have a crisp finish.
Is Saaz hops going to be the hop of season 4? Feel like we're having a decent amount of Saaz hops.
We're also getting a lot of Pilsners, too.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, follow us on Instagram there at Craft Beer Content Untapped, Craft Beer Connoisseurs. The rating for Madawaska is a 3.62 out of 5. There's 125 check-ins at the time of when we were been recording this. Now, we do have 3 friends that have untapped this at a 3.92. Zach's been throwing up gang signs, I think, and saying that there's 0 5 out of 5s on this one.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good
I'll have to
sign.
remember that sign.
Yeah. I didn't know what was going on there. I was like, all right, here we go. We're doing this. All right. Season 4, we're transferring into picking a side.
It's true.
All right.
Can you do something for Chris that he hasn't heard in a while? In person?
I think when we get to the conversation, we might talk about that, but that's all right. I'll do something for you, Chris. You ready for this? This could be live.
Let's do it.
Grab your can, Christopher. Grab your glass and let's open her up. Very nice. Chris, have you? Did you miss that sound on the podcast?
I was just going to say a beautiful sound, right?
Now, Tyler, do you want me to make make a noise that you've been missing?
Oh, I would love.
Or whatever you said, Brett.
Yeah.
Say something that you've been
Yeah,
missing.
how about you do something that we've all missed, Chris? Because guess what? No matter what Brett and I could do, we could never fill your shoes. So please go
thanks.
ahead.
Thanks for the kind words. So we are drinking this beer out of a Pilsner glass today, so make sure to use your proper glassware.
And honestly, Chris, we've been trying throughout season 4 to use our proper glassware just for you.
It's me. I did
and,
that.
and we've done it. There might be a glass broken. I don't know.
No.
We're still good.
We're
Okay,
good.
perfect.
We're good. We're
Yes.
good. We're good.
So what are we getting on the nostrils here, gentlemen?
Chris, why don't you start us off on the nostrils?
Well, do we start on nostrils now, or
We
or
don't
the
usually,
looks?
but this is
Brett's
Brett.
leading the show here.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you take the leash off and you just let the kid run.
I will say it definitely has that maltiness coming through on the nose, nice and bready, kind of toasty.
Yeah,
even.
yeah. I think Toasty's kind of where we're at with it. Anything else you want to add? Chris?
No, I
Brett?
mean I poured with a decent head, which has dissipated very quickly.
Yes, the head did dissipate very quickly. I'm kind of getting exactly what Chris was putting down there.
What do you see color-wise there, Brett?
Toastiness. Color-wise, as prototypical, that golden color, right? Exactly what you expect from a Pilsner.
I'd say it's a deep golden though. Like we're not talking
Yeah,
like
a
a
little
light
deeper.
light.
Yeah,
We're talking
fair.
kind of like a deep honeycomb, if you will.
Yes.
Yes.
A little bit more brownish added.
Yeah,
in, right.
Yeah, like there's some deepness, almost kind of like a traditional. I don't want to say necessarily companies, but like a malt's apple juice, like a very deep kind of color.
Okay, there you go.
That's my thoughts.
Okay.
Chris, do the honors. Take the first sip for your first beer on the podcast.
Oh, thanks.
This is an episode all about you, as you could tell, because you picked the topic.
And cheers, Chris. We should have said that. Cheers. Enjoy your beer.
Well, my mouth was full, but cheers, yes. Thanks for having me back.
We had no choice. You are an equal
you showed up.
shareholder, and
You showed up. We figured, it's probably a good time to have him do stuff.
Well, on the first taste there, it is smooth. It does have definitely that malt is coming through in the taste as well that I totally expected based on the smell of it. But definitely kind of smooth and has that crispness that you would expect from a Pilsner.
yeah.
I'm going to kind of go back to your apple juice comment a little bit. It almost kind of gives me like a bready apple juice vibe.
Okay.
That's kind of what it's tasting like to me.
Yep.
Yeah. It is crisp, but
Yeah, that apple kind of vibe is
coming-
kind of like on the back end.
Yeah,
yes,
right?
that's exactly
Yeah.
what I was going to say.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a sharpness to it.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys are getting kind of like it's free flowing, and then all of a sudden there's a sharpness, and then it does mellow itself out. But
Yeah.
that flavor really does kind of linger around, which is, I mean, yeah.
It comes on strong too. As soon like it's kind of light on the first sip, and then as it gets further down, the apple just
Yeah,
hits.
yeah, it is kind of different, and I'm not really picking up any of the floral as much or anything
No.
like that. But yeah, it's sharp but it's clean though too, right? Like you guys getting like a
very
cleanness
Yeah, I
to
think
it
it is.
Like, and it finishes slow and like hangs around for a bit. So it's not like I'm necessarily jumping to, I have to have another sip. You know what I mean? Like I can almost slow play this one.
And this is one that's one of those ones you can sit back and relax and read a nice book or whatever people do. Don't want to be crushing it,
I'm waiting for Chris to be like, "Did you take up book readings when I was gone?" But you didn't do it.
but you don't want to be. I don't think I'd want to crush this one completely. Wouldn't classify this as crushable.
No.
No.
Oh
Brett, you know what I have missed you do?
gosh. Oh gosh.
Not much, but
Yeah, I was gonna say.
butcher the can art.
Oh yes.
So maybe let's see you have a go at this one.
Well, let's see here. Looks like we're on a harbor of sorts. Looking at some birds, and then there's a polar bear just randomly walking on the waterline.
Okay, keep going. You
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah. Almost looks like maybe it's the Ottawa Valley. There's a polar bear involved. There's the road with the yellow lines and whatnot, and
What kind of road would that be?
a yellow brick road. Maybe
Are you-
Madawaska Boulevard.
There.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's a road or
Yeah.
is it like buoys in the water?
No, that's
That's gotta be
that, I think we're
Ooh. You know what? Well, on Instagram, when you listen to our episode, producer Zach's going to give a vote. Is it a buoy or is it a yellow brick road?
or is it logs?
Or is it logs? There could be many more options.
Logs.
There might be an option called other, and you can just write in.
There is.
Right?
Zach will be on it.
Yes, he will.
Zach, you got that?
Yeah, he heard all that. Don't worry.
All right,
I think
Zach's-
he's trying to decipher
Zach's
what it
from-
is.
Why don't we talk about some of the top 5 flavor profiles? Chris, walk us through them.
Yeah, so the first one comes in as crisp, which I would definitely agree with.
Yes, I do agree with that.
The second one I don't really agree with, which is subtle. I don't think there's necessarily subtle flavors here.
No, I don't think there's anything subtle about this beer. Maybe the aroma's a little subtle, but nothing.
Yeah, no, it's no.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's scrap that one. So number 3 is biscuity. I mean, I get that. That's kind of like the toasty, bready, kind of all wrapped into one, right?
Can I make kind of an amendment to this, maybe, or a recommendation?
Absolutely.
Can we do 3 and 5 together and maybe ditch 3-ish and kind of just insert 5?
Yeah. So number 5 is bread, right? So that really goes to it's basically 2 of the same.
Kind of, and I think it leads more to the breadiness than it does the biscuit portion of it for me at
Yeah,
least.
for sure.
No, I agree with you there.
And then the fourth one, so we just said 5. 4 also I'm not getting, which is floral.
No,
I'm not getting the floralness in this at all. No.
So Zach is coming in with some suggestions as well. Apple. So I think I would put that there based on our conversation already. And then clean and sharp, which I would probably say so as well.
Yeah, I think that's fairly accurate. And again, we're replacing 2 of them. So I mean, we come back and we get 6. So
Well, and remember, there is no limit
that's
to
what I'm
flavor
saying.
profiles.
Like, and I know your math was a little bit rusty there, but yeah,
Yes.
we can hit 6 up.
And I just want to say before we get into the untapped thoughts, I feel like I'm a little bit out of sorts because I keep, even though you're talking, I keep looking at Tyler and I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, right? It's like, oh yeah, you're here. I should probably look to my right, shouldn't I?
I have to look behind you.
I know, right? Because with the new house, you got a different arrangement.
There's a
and things
new
like that.
seating arrangement.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the seating arrangement?
Yeah, good.
It's in the old arrangement we were more circular,
Yeah.
right? So we kind of had that visual of everyone, which I think ideally we kind of get to again.
Yeah. I think the idea is to maybe go with a sectional down here so we can kind of use that U shape on an angle.
Yeah.
But for what it is, it's nice to have more space.
More space is good.
Now, talking about space, Brett, people have occupied space. Where have they occupied that space?
On Untapped, putting their thoughts on it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think Chris, because, obviously.
Chris's
we're
episode.
kind of just saying, hey, Chris is back. He
Whatever
probably had the first one.
Whatever
So,
Chris
please
wants,
take it
Chris
away.
gets.
Okay. Well, the first one comes from Brendan C. Brendan's handle is BMC Line. And Brendan stated, superb pills, wonderful balance of malt and hops with a beautiful floral herbaceous bitterness. Well done, Hugh. And Brendan gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
I'm not getting the floral herbaceous bitterness out of this, but
I think
for
Brendan
Brendan.
might also have a personal connection there. So
yeah,
Yes.
keep that in mind.
he
Keep
might
that in mind.
know the brewer.
All right. I got the second one. Donald S. The handle is Donald OJDK. Could be Donald Oj, which is possible. It's a possible
Could
last
be.
name.
Could be, yeah.
Said as follows: nice pills. Ooh, we had superb pills. Now we got a nice pills. It's biscuity as advertised. 3.7 out of 5. So notice that 3.7. I don't think it's a mistype by Zach. I think it's an actual 3.7. All right. What do you guys think of that?
Like
like
his
it.
rating or this beer?
Those ratings.
I guess we'll kind of see how our ratings kind of check out in a few seconds. And Tyler, do you want to see if your rating kind of fits within them, or maybe it's a little lower, a little higher?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this one I'm going to give it a 3.25. I'm going to give it a 3.25. Again, there's the notes that are there. The description's a little bit off from what I would normally think, and so it gets a little bit lower of a rating because it just doesn't justify exactly what it is. But that, in my mind.
Yeah. So, again, my first rating of season 4 in person.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've used a few of your ratings, but
Yes.
yes.
So I'm going to give this one actually lower than you, Tyler. I'm going to go with a 2.75 on this one.
Fair?
Okay. I'm going to be with Tyler on this one and give it a 3.25.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Yeah,
Producer Zac
You good?
coming in at a 3 even. So, Tyler, because there's 4 people now, you should probably do the math on this one.
I'm going to do the math on this one. If Zach can hand me the math on this one.
Yeah. Waiting.
Waiting. All right, so that's going to give us an overall team score of 3.0625. We're going to round that down to an even 3.
Yes, we are.
Everybody's all good with that? Chris, take us into beer number 2, buddy.
All right. Well, we're going to go grab our cold beer number 2.
Okay, we're back,
We're
Brad.
back, yes.
Let's
And
go.
The second beer we're going to have is called Shift Change, which is an ordinary bitter, 3.6 ABV, and 17 IBUs.
All right. Back in the day in Arnprior, Steam.
I hear a story coming.
It's a train story, if you will.
I don't think it is.
All right.
Is it a steam whistle story in terms of beers?
Well, we'll see. Steam whistles could be heard signaling a shift change at the factories. And there's nothing better than, heading to the pub after a long shift to enjoy a pint. This ordinary bitter or pub ale is crafted with the M3M English Pale Ale. Do you want me to do this?
Yeah. This is
Okay.
you. I'm just looking at you.
I know, it's very weird. It's like you want to jump in. The Digman's Biscuit, the Simpson's Crystal Medium Malts to give it notes of caramel and biscuit. An ordinary bitter.
Here you go. So on Untapped, this shift change has 61 check-ins with an average rating of 3.61 out of 5 and 3 of of our friends have checked it in, and they have given it an average rating of 3.58, so pretty close to the overall. And I can see Zach out of my peripherals trying to find how many 5 out of 5s there have been. Come on, Zach.
Struggling.
I thought he was just trying to take a
Zero.
picture. I thought he was just trying to take a picture of the fact that you have no holes in your socks.
Oh. Are those the socks I got you?
They are not.
No, they're not.
No. I actually purchased these ones.
Wow. There's a first for everything.
You give this guy freaking 18 weeks off and he can purchase socks. That's great.
Hey, man.
We love that. All right. Let's grab the beer. Grab the glass. You good?
Yep.
You seem struggling.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what's going on here.
All right. And let's open her up.
Shift change.
This story kind of reminds me of Fred Flintstone.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I like that. I actually made a reference to Fred Flintstone with one of my coworkers the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen Flintstones.
She never saw it. But
Really?
the reference was, you know how Rosie O'Donnell played Betty Rubble in there?
No, I did not, but now I do.
But does it make sense? Like, now, can you picture it?
Betty was Fred's wife?
No, the other one. Who's the other one?
Fred.
Barney. Barney's wife.
Okay, yeah.
Played by
Barney.
Stephen Baldwin.
Yes, Stephen Baldwin, and it was Rosie O'Donnell.
Correct.
And so she has that little kind of giggle.
Right.
She did that at work. I was like, that is Rosie O'Donnell in Flintstones.
And I believe John Goodman played Fred Flintstone.
Correct?
And don't remember who played his wife.
Look at this guy, IMDb encyclopedia.
Pretty much.
Don't
right?
get him to do
Pretty
the
much.
math, but you can hit him with the movies.
Yeah.
Or a TV
Actually, I
show.
haven't watched a full movie in a while, so I can't really say too much.
No?
No.
Anyways, so that was just, I'm glad you mentioned the Flintstones, and it's just funny because I mentioned that a couple weeks ago.
Awesome. Well, back to the beer. We are drinking this beer out of a Nonic pint glass, so make sure to use your proper glassware.
Very good.
That I am.
All right. Brett, what do you see?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see.
You went back. You took your big schnoz and stuffed it in that pale ale.
Yeah, but yours is still bigger. Anyway.
It's a true ordinary bitter British nose. This nose is.
So obviously it's got that copper red darkness to it. Almost looks like a red ale.
Would you call it mahogany?
Ooh, a rich mahogany?
Yeah, I was going to say sweet old rich mahogany.
Kind of like a cherry wood?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. More cherry wood. It's got more of a reddish hue. So yeah, I would
I was
say.
getting there. It's like a red ale. Okay, I was getting there. That's all.
Okay.
You want to tell me anything else? That looks like?
No, we're doing all right.
All right, what about the snifter?
The snifter. All right, let me sniff it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. This is pretty mild on the nose. Like I'm not getting much at all.
I think the pub ale was more so that you could, sit there and have more than one.
Yes, especially coming in at 3.6%.
Yes, exactly, right? Exactly.
There we go. Did you see that information coming in?
Yes,
you
Rick
go.
Moranis played Barney Rubble, not
It's-
Stephen Baldwin.
Wow.
I thought Stephen Baldwin. Maybe it was like that secondary knockoff version.
Now, was Rick Moranis also in Little Big Giants?
Something to do with Little and Big, and because he was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, but I also thought he was the coach of Little Big Giants.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or Little
our,
Giants,
Our
whatever it's
topic
called.
on our thematic conversation has now changed to Rick Moranis movies now.
And we're doing it now.
Yeah, I thought he was in Little. I think it's Little Giants. Maybe is the name of it. Yes, yeah, he was the coach in Little
Producer
Giants.
Zac coming in with
Have
a
you
big
seen Little
thumbs up.
Giants? Fantastic movie if you haven't. Good.
I've not heard of this.
Little Giants, great movie. We'll watch it later.
What subscription service is that on?
I don't know.
Amazon Prime?
No, I don't
No,
know.
it's called VHS.
Oh, one of those ones.
Yeah.
All right, we digress. All right.
Shift change.
Oh, there you go.
Jeez.
Why don't you guys have a little taste of this?
All right, we
You
can
know,
do that.
Get into this, and our listeners can think about the Flintstones and their Saturday morning cartoons.
All right. Malty.
Yeah.
Yeah, malty. I'm getting light as well. Like it drinks very light. It does have that maltiness to it.
I
There's
also
some
think it's
caramel to
yeah,
it.
sorry.
It's
I didn't mean to cut you off there. I apparently
Sure
do
you
that.
didn't.
I was going to say it almost, it drinks like at the right temperature. And I think we had to let it sit for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right at the right temperature, which is nice to see. Shift change back to you. Sorry.
So I'm here too.
yeah.
Crap, I forgot about that. Sorry. Please go ahead.
So bitter. I'm getting very bitter right off the right off the hop, right there, as soon as you sip it.
Yep.
And then kind of mellows a little bit, and that caramel kind of comes in.
Yep.
But those are kind of like the two major things I'm getting. Just hit you in the nose with bitter, and then some caramel to finish.
Right, I get that. And then again, kind of like it's light. Again, not necessarily in flavor, but the way that it drinks. Right?
Yes.
Like it finishes quick. It's there. It doesn't sit heavy in the mouth at all. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really linger too much. It as I say, it finishes quick. But yeah, it's light drinking with an immense amount of flavor.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is I was honestly looking at it thinking it would have kind of like a thicker mouthfeel,
Sure, yeah, I agree.
and it does not.
It's very thin.
Very, very thin on the mouthfeel, yeah.
Which I think, again, it kind of makes it a little bit more enjoyable because then it's not sticking around.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
then you can kind of get, as I say, you can get that next sip in, and then it's so far, it's rinse and repeating.
It is encouraging me to have another sip, though.
And the sip, as I say, like it replicates the sip before it.
Yes.
So far, it's not like you're having one sip and then you get a little bit further down here and then it changes. It seems very consistent.
It is consistent, yeah.
Which is almost reassuring. It's like a safety blanket.
Almost like a beer that you'd want to have at like a nice English pub with some fish and chips.
I don't like fish.
I don't like fish and chips either, but I'm just assuming that people do, and they would have this beer with it.
Yeah, I'll change it up for like chicken wings.
Yeah, that was my second choice.
Was
Chicken
it?
wings, yeah. Or maybe a nice salad.
You a blue cheese guy or ranch?
Oh, ranch. Blue cheese people are disgusting.
I don't.
agree.
Oh, whoa. Hold on. First of all,
Our topic is...
I don't know how many chicken wings you're going to find in England.
It's true. It's true.
But maybe like a.
Do you think Rick Moranis would like blue cheese or ranch?
I would say if you're going like English, there's probably more like a chicken pot pie to pair with or something like that.
I would like that.
I do like a chicken pot pie or shepherd's pie. I do like that.
Oh, shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's
there you go.
pie.
That's a good choice.
Good choice.
Anyway, moving back to the actual beer instead of food or Rick Moranis, we should probably talk about the top 5 flavor profiles, shouldn't we?
We should.
So number 1, malty.
There is maltiness to this for sure. I think it's malty, but I think that Chris might allude to something a little bit different.
Yeah, I would not put this as number 1 personally.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm most going to be on that with that as well. Number 2, light.
Yeah, I think it drinks super light, thin,
Yes,
whatever we want to go ahead with it.
agreed.
Number 3, caramel.
I'm getting the caramel for sure.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 is toasty.
There's a toastiness to it, but again, I think this kind of goes along with the malt feel of it, right? And then that caramel kind of aspect. So light and toasty. Yeah.
I would say that the Pilsner we had first was more toasty than this.
I think I'd agree with you on that one, actually.
I don't know if I would. I'd say it was more bready,
Yeah,
but I don't know
Yeah.
if it was more toasty.
right. Like not kind of like that burnt.
There was no like
Yeah.
singe to it, right? This
Yeah.
has got a little bit more of like the darker feel to it. So I think it's like, say you go ahead and you throw your piece of bread into the toaster and you throw it at like a 6.5 or a 7. You're getting somewhere in there. Now that's all circumstantial.
Depends on your, appliances may vary.
It's true. Yeah, thanks. We got to put that disclaimer in.
Yeah.
But if I say 6.5, 7 on the toast scale out of 10, I think you guys know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Would you concur?
yeah. That's a good assessment.
It depends if you're using like a Samsung toaster or a Sunbeam toaster.
Yeah, we discussed that when we said, different toasters may
Depends,
vary.
right? So just enjoying the banter back and forth between you two. All right, I believe number 5 is where we're at. And that'll be
Yeah?
biscuity.
Yeah, again, I'd go with the toastiness of it. I think there's other choices that we could go with, and we might have some of those listed.
Producer Zac coming in bitter.
Yes,
Yes,
for sure.
because it's ordinary bitter. It makes sense that there should be some bitterness involved with it. Clean. Do we think this is a beer, or beer is clean, pardon me?
I do think it is a beer.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you think it's clean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's clean.
Would you put it under the refreshing category? I wouldn't personally, but would you guys do that?
I would also not.
Yeah, I'd probably stay away from refreshing on this one. And I think it's to Zach's next point, which is like, is this a good autumn beer? I don't think it's necessarily refreshing. It's just that's just kind of where we're at with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
I totally get you're coming from there.
yeah. Chris, anything you want to add to that?
No, I'm good.
Good. Like to hear that. Thoughts from untapped users.
So I have the very first one. This
You
one,
do?
Yes, you're absolutely right, Chris. Thank you. This one comes from Jantine V, and her handle is Ottawa Jantine. Amber, smooth and drinkable. Not too sweet, but good maltiness. And their rating was a 4 out of 5.
Very good.
Nice. So the next one comes from LP Jerry. Same handle. So LP
That's
Jerry.
okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. The handle is not same handle. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Maybe it is actually. Well, Zach? Is
Zach?
it? No, it's not.
No,
Okay.
no.
So LP Jerry said, very smooth, easy drinking Brit ale that brings memories of London back. I assume London, England.
I was waiting for somebody to say that.
Low ABV, just like the real ales there. And LP Jerry rated it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Wow.
But now we should probably talk about our rating, shouldn't we?
Yeah, Brett, you're up first.
You're up
yes,
first,
I
Brett.
am up first. I'm going to give this one a 3.25.
All right.
Okay.
Chris, you go next.
I'm going to come in a tiny bit lower and do a 3.0.
All right. I'm going to copy that. I'm at a 3.
Copy that.
10-4.
I'm at oh my goodness. I'm at a 3 myself. And producer Zac, I didn't realize the spelling was without the H. Good to know.
Oh.
Just really try to get as far away from that Zachary as possible.
Mom's going to be really pissed.
She's going to be really
I
perturbed.
wonder what Dad feels about that.
Yeah, well, we'll have to find out. It's going to give it a 3.25, which is going to give us an overall score of 3.125. I'm talking a lot here, Brett. Why don't you
Do you want to round that up? Round that down? What do you think? Because right smack down in the middle. We got 2 3s and 3.
Let's rock, paper, scissors. You and Chris, go.
All right.
I mean,
Tie game. All right. What do you want to do?
the laws of math say to round it up. So we should round it up.
Look at
to
that.
So I had
3.25.
paper. Yeah.
His math skills are pretty sharp. Not bad.
So that concludes the review of Cold Bear and the cold beers provided for today's episode.
Very good. Usually I wouldn't be saying this, but I will. Up next, we discuss Chris.
All right, we are back to our themed conversation, and we've been talking about how I'm, back to the podcast today, and so I thought we would maybe enlighten our listeners. You mentioned, Tyler, that people have been asking, where have I been? What's been going on? That sort of thing, right?
People were generally worried about you.
Worried, yeah.
Genuinely.
Well, as you can hear, my
Worried.
my voice is going a little bit today, right? Yeah. So I had throat surgery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You know what? They never kind of anticipate that podcasting is very laborious on the throat.
It is. I was on the IL. Okay. Yeah. So had the throat injury, had to get surgery on it, and it's been a long road to recovery.
And you came back with the same voice, which we thought
for the most part.
We thought you'd be coming with different voices. We thought you might be going a little higher pitch.
Yeah. It'd be cool if I could make a bunch of different voices and
Maybe like the Flintstones, perhaps.
yeah. There you go.
Rick Moranis could do it.
But in all seriousness, I did not have throat surgery for those who are concerned. So I did have a new child. So I now have a...
Could you have an old child? Is this a Benjamin Button situation?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. But no, she was not a Benjamin Button scenario. So now have 2 small children. One is obviously an infant. Oh, yes. Thank you. I'll be honest. I really didn't do much in terms of getting her out into the world. But big shout out.
You drove your wife to the hospital?
Yeah, twice, actually.
Yeah, twice. So there you go.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is true twice.
Yeah, we had to go there, come back, and then go there again.
Oh, really? That's nice.
Yeah. Thank you, Tyler, for babysitting our oldest for the first time.
You
that
didn't
we
have
went.
anybody else, did you?
Nobody,
No,
that,
not
nobody that
really.
would come over at 12 in the morning.
Yeah. I said, hey,
Stay to four.
who's awake right now and going to answer a text message? Tyler.
Tyler. Yeah.
Always reliable, Tyler.
Yeah.
But that's good. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I have been, needless to say, occupied
Sleeping.
with
Okay.
2 children and not so much sleeping.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe you're supposed to be sleeping right now.
Yeah, probably would be a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I've been for those who have been wondering. Yeah.
And that's all for today's episode.
But I will say I have been listening to you guys, listening to the podcast, of course,
to hear.
supporting you guys. People probably have noticed that in the first few episodes, I think, I was also giving ratings to some of the beers. So I was given the beers. I would drink them ahead of time and give the ratings so that I could feel a little bit more, involved.
Yep.
But that's kind of slowed down a little bit. But I was wondering, what do you guys think of podcasting without me, with just the 2 of you and a producer, of course?
Well, I mean, one thing is my neck doesn't turn quite as much. I just have to turn one way instead of 2 ways. Even though I've pretty much done that today anyway. No, I think it's been, we definitely fly through it faster, but I think it's one of those things that we miss the rebuttal of a third person, if you will, right? It's sometimes nicer to have 3 people instead of 2.
Yeah.
Right? They say 3's a crowd, but I think in terms of us, 3's not a crowd. 4 definitely would be, though.
Saying three's company.
No,
2?
3's a crowd. You were saying 3's a crowd?
No,
I know there's 3's company. I understand that. R.I.P. Suzanne Summers. I get it. But
Very good.
go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah. So we built this podcast for 3 hosts and the producer.
Yes.
That's how it was built.
Yes, it was.
So the structure based around that, to go 3 1/4 seasons of just doing that same kind of consistency, like that routine has been so nice, right? So as Brett said, like it was a little bit more efficient because you get through it a little bit faster, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you miss that extra opinion. And I don't know, like we have so many beer styles that when we're talking about certain things that like we have IPAs, double IPAs, it's great. Brett has some good insight on that. But I would almost say like as we move into the late autumn, late fall, early kind of winter seasons here, is that we're moving to the stouts, and it's nice to have your input on those.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of where you really shine. So we've moved out of that sour section, so we've kind of moved more into your realm. So it's nice to have you back, and I think again the structure of this podcast is built for 3 hosts and a producer, and so kind of deviating from that, it just feels a bit off. And we both said that numerous times, like.
Yes.
It just didn't feel the same.
There'd be times where, like, say, for example, like, we'd open her up and then we'd talk about glassware, and then Tyler would have a drink and be like, oh, I gotta randomly say stuff for 20 seconds about whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, look, squirrel. Like, things like that. Just to kind of...
Yeah.
It was a nice squirrel.
It was a great squirrel.
Good squirrel. We like the
yeah,
squirrel.
It's obviously things go a little nicer. And I know kind of you're not going to be back full time per se. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, do you have any other questions? You got any questions for us?
Any questions for us? Lead into that.
I don't necessarily have any other questions for you. I was going to kind of comment on my thoughts about listening to
Yes, that's it.
you.
Please,
together.
I'd like to hear this.
Here we go.
I was I was surprised at how great Brett was holding it together.
Yeah. I think we worked for this as we knew that, Brett had to be a good boy and take the wet horse blanket and throw it to the side. But it worked out really well, and we understood that we were trying to get the episodes done in a way that we couldn't really engage in a whole lot of extracurricular conversation, and I think that was good.
But I think overall, I would agree with what you were saying, Brett. Like at some points, it does sound like, okay,
Filler.
Yeah, someone needs to talk
Correct, yeah.
just to fill dead space, right?
So thanks for doing that today. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You now know you're a dead space filler.
Yes, I know my value. Okay, thank you very much. But it has been nice to still be able to listen, and it's actually, being on the podcast, I do listen to the podcast when our episodes come out, and there's kind of no surprises, right?
Right.
And so it's kind of been nice to listen, and like, I don't know what's going to be said on this episode.
So you get kind of like the inside track on like being almost like a fan of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
You see it from a different perspective now, which
But with like a little bit of insider
Excuse.
information, because I'm like, I know what brewery and what beer is going to be reviewed.
that's true. That's
But
true.
I haven't had the beer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then it's, yes. No, I get that.
That it's kind of interesting to have that kind of insight and that perspective, right? Because like I've never missed an episode myself, but it is good.
Same, actually. I'm not going to lie. I haven't missed one either.
But it is good to kind of see it from a different kind of side of things, right? And that I think helps us kind of grow and be better and understanding some of the feedback and comments that we get from our fan base, right? So,
And I'm sure there's going to be a few times that, you're just listening in terms of whatever you're doing while you're listening.
Yeah.
And you just burst out laughing or you burst out, maybe in tears.
Sometimes, yeah.
Right? Yeah, just things like that, because you'd just be something random. Maybe that was a little inside joke or just something funny that Tyler said, because I'm not funny. And I'm just going to have that little, that is good, pretty good.
And I will say, I think there was only one time that I can't remember the exact time, but where you got the glassware wrong.
oh wow!
Or at
That's
least,
why we need you here.
at least
for
I
this.
said to myself,
I would have put
that's
some-
not the glass that I would drink it out of.
I would have been interesting. I wonder if it was like a Hefeweizen.
No, I don't think so. I can't recall what it was.
You
but-
should have made a note of it. I will say though, like it is 100% nice to have you back. It feels again kind of more like authentic.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, when I knew that you were having another kid and we were going to be walking down this kind of journey of like what it would look like for the podcast, because it's time consuming and
Yeah.
we're not paid for this. Like we enjoy some benefits, absolutely, but we're not doing this for the money. That's for sure.
No.
So
Yet.
Trying to get there.
yeah. But I was genuinely concerned because you are a very private person, and some things you just don't disseminate information willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell Fife, so Fife didn't tell everybody else on the podcast anything. So that's great.
So, Chris, where's that? No.
No, I do remember that one of the first episodes. I think you kind of stopped Brett from saying
did.
like why I wasn't on the
We
podcast.
walked down that line. I
Yeah.
said it's not our information to tell.
He yanked the chain.
Yeah, I said we're not
you were
doing
being
that.
a good boy.
But I was actually concerned that this might be you leaving the podcast.
My wife actually did ask that question. She was like, is Chris done? And I was like, I don't know. He'll tell you. So please.
Well, so no, I would not say that I am done. What I will say is you can still expect episodes that include only Brett, Tyler, and a producer.
Yes.
But I will try to do my best to come and record episodes when I can.
And even if you have to be virtual,
Yeah,
we can make it happen.
We'll accept virtual.
Yeah, we could do that.
yeah, exactly.
Accept
right?
virtual.
We have the technology, so why not? right?
Amazing how we have that technology.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably enough about me.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I would have
yeah,
said that
pretty
about, what, 7 minutes ago? Is that what we're at?
As soon as he said, I'm going to talk about himself, then yeah, I think we were done there.
All
But no,
right.
it's nice to have you back.
Well, I
and hopefully
appreciate
we'll be able to do this again soon, right?
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's hit you with our farewell. That's all for today's episode. Thank you again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as the Craft Beer Connoisseurs release a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for a producer special.
And make sure to tell your friends, family, and your favorite bear, whoever that is.
All right. Leave it up to Brett. All right. So, Chris, welcome back-ish.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congrats.
So, from all of us and producer Zach, without an H, I'm Tyler.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.